check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
this way, am I right? 'Cause I got Good evening and welcome. My name is Stan Ross and I'm the Director of Athletics here at Oxbridge. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the All Sports meeting. In tonight's meeting, our focus is giving our student athletes and parents the necessary information to have an exciting year. The journey of our Oxbridge student athletes so far has been very exciting. We as coaches try to do our best to guide and help in showcasing not only their talents, but their hidden qualities as well. Players, you are our tomorrow, our future. We are teaching you the life skills that you will be able to use down the road. You may become doctors, lawyers, teachers, and other professionals. What our student athletes are going to be in the future is what you make of it today. I believe the talents of our student athletes have demonstrated in past seasons is proof that you have the potential to have a successful citizens of the future. Oxbridge Academy commits to providing an environment where every student can learn and achieve success. This is something we strive for every year. I'd also like to take this time to congratulate the entire Oxbridge Athletic Department, especially the girls track team and the members of the 4x100 relay for winning states. Collectively, we have made some noise in South Florida and good things are happening at Oxbridge. This all happens because of the awesome efforts of our student athletes. The example we set as parents, coaches, and educators are strong mentors that make athletics push themselves to achieve their full potential. The same applies to the academic study, completing schoolwork, practicing examples, fixing mistakes, studying for tests, working on projects. Make the difference between achieved and excellence. On one hand, we need to get our students to move away from the fear of failing, which causes embarrassment, or the fear of succeeding, as this stops them from even trying. On the other hand, we have to be careful we do not become obsessed with the need to win at all costs, as this also affects their performance. Hard work, perseverance, resilience, determination, these are all necessary elements of lifelong pursuit of athletics and learning. But don't be fooled into thinking that they are alone will brand you as excellent, because in the final outcome, what you accomplish, how you behave, how you treat others, in other words, your deeds will determine whether or not you are successful. I wish to briefly share a story with you. There's a story of a young but deep Zen student who approached his teacher and asked the master, "If I work very hard and diligently, how long will it take me to find Zen?" The master thought about his reply, then replied, 10 years. The student then said, "But if I work very, very hard and really apply myself, then learn fast, how long?" Replied the master, "But if I work really, really hard and really apply myself, how long?" Replied the master, "Well, 20 years. But if I really, really work at it, how long?" Asked the student. 30 years, replied the master. "But I don't understand," said the disappointed student. "At each time that I say I will work harder, you say it will take me longer." "How do you say that?" replied the master. "Or why do you say that?" "When you have one eye on the goal, you only have one eye on the path." This is the dilemma we face within athletics and the education system. We are all so focused on a goal, a win, passing a test, or winning a state title. However, this way, we do not really holistically learn. We do, however, we do whatever it takes to achieve our objective. I want to encourage our student athletes to remain focused, enjoy the entire Oxbridge experience, get involved in one or more of our sports or clubs, try a new or different class, develop yourself holistically, remain focused on the path, enjoy the journey, and you will achieve your goals. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Maurer to say a few words.
It's a little bit tall for me. Okay. Thanks, Dan. So Athletic Director Ross here is just an incredible job with the program. I think we're doing better than we ever have. There's been, since I got here, there's been, 5 state championships, and the last year was probably the most glorious in a lot of ways. It came there right at the end of the year, coming at the end of 2 really difficult years. And you should have seen it. When they came back from the state championships, the entire school came out and poured out into the streets out here. We let them do that. We let them come out of class and poured out in there and just kind of welcomed them back. And it was just amazing, and it was a testament to the strength of the student body and to the school, but also to this athletic department for having developed that team. There's some talented individuals, but also the athletic department and the coaches there, having developed that team, but also have developed the spirit and the support of the whole student body and the school behind that team. And I think that's really what we're all about here at Oxbridge, is we support athletics. Is an immense piece of this school, and we've got that pride. And it's getting bigger. Our school is growing. Our student body's going from about 515 students last year to, we'll start the school year with about 565. So, and that's growing both in middle school and in high school. So we're growing, almost about 10% or so, a little under that. And heading towards these buildings being completely full. And what does that mean to athletics? It means more players out there doing more full teams, more teammates, better experience. And I think you're gonna love it. Who here is a new student? Raise your hand. Okay. Keep your hand raised. Do you play more than one sport? Keep it raised if you do. Okay. If you didn't keep your hand raised, I hope you keep it up next time, because play more than one sport. Playing multiple sports is a surefire way, and they'll tell you, to lifelong fitness and even better athleticism and essentially playing ability in that first sport. Is anybody a Cristiano Ronaldo fan? Back here? Okay. He spends 10 to 15% of his time in other sports besides soccer. Play more sports, have a great program here, and you're going to have a great time and make the most use of it. Okay. That's all I want to say. I think Coach Ross here, or Athletic Director Ross, did a great job laying out for you what we believe in, what a great opportunity you've got here. And when we get through with our presentation, spend some more time with these coaches. They are phenomenal. They are world class, and get to know them. And I can't wait to see you again in the fall. Thanks.
So we put together some slides for you to go over some general information about Oxbridge and our athletic department and different policies and procedures for everybody. I think that it's great that we have a lot of new students here. This is your first induction into the school. When we are done, like Dr. Maurer said, all of our coaches will be back up, get an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself. Please put your names on the sign-up sheets. That way we can start tracking you as potential student athletes on that team. So the sports we offer, we have 24 sports. In the fall, we have cheerleading, cross country, golf, swimming, girls volleyball, and JV football is now coming back. In the winter, we have cheerleading, basketball, and soccer. In the spring, baseball, girls flag football, lacrosse, softball, tennis, track and field, and our year sports are equestrian and sailing. There are a lot of benefits in participating in athletics. It will develop leadership and time management, to learn the concept of fair play, ethical behavior and teamwork, self-discipline, self-sacrifice, setting individual goals to support the team, and then work hard to achieve them. The value of accepting responsibility, loyalty to the community, the school, and the team, a lifelong appreciation of sports and living an active and healthy life, and create great memories and friendships that will last a lifetime. There are some expectations of being a part of an Oxbridge Student Athletes. Once a student has chosen to participate in a sport or extracurricular activity, they have made a choice to uphold certain standards expected of the Oxbridge community. Oxbridge Academy, along with the athletic department, expects our student athletes to conduct themselves as good citizens of the school and community at all times. As much as we love athletics, academics always come first. Athletic expectations, okay, integrity, excellence, respect, team, and commitment. We do what is ethical under all circumstances. We strive to be our best on and off the field. We honor and value ourselves and others. Together, as one, we pursue common goals. We give total effort and sacrifice to achieve our purpose for each of our teams. We believe our student athletes represent the school and the community. We maintain strict standards in academics, behavior, and making healthy choices. We emphasize dedication and commitment to the team and program, a desire for success and sacrificing personal goals for the team. We have certain core values that we like to follow with all of our teams: respect and sportsmanship, academic excellence, integrity and character, spirited and safe competition, and we emphasize accountability. The next thing I want to talk about is coach, parent, and student relationship. Being a part of an athletic program is not easy and requires a great amount of sacrifice. During adulthood, student athletes will rely on the lessons learned through athletics to meet the expectations and responsibility life places on them. Knowing the separate and collective roles of the coach, the parent, the athlete is vital to the success of the student athlete. So our coaches' roles: set a good example for the players and fans to follow. Be positive, fair, consistent with the players. Make playing time and strategy decisions with care and thought. Express and organize practice for team on a daily basis. Maintain consistent and timely communication with parents and players. Ensure the safety of all of our athletes. Educate players on the expectations, procedures, and rules of the team. Keep track of academic progress of all of our athletes. Parents' roles: practice good sportsmanship and respect for other fans. Respect the decision of the officials, coaches, and health and wellness clinic. Avoid putting your child in a difficult position by talking bad about the coach, the program, or teammates in their presence. Don't talk to coaches on game day about a complaint. Make an appointment at a convenient time for both parties. Understand the coach's responsibility is to make sure the student athletes are safe while coaching them to become better people and athletes, not to win every game. Be supportive of the child and of the program. Player roles: be positive and have a good attitude. Support your teammates. Always work hard. If there is a question, ask the coach. The only bad question is the one that you don't ask. Understand and follow school and team rules, including all classroom expectations. understand and follow, challenge themselves or yourselves as students, a person, and an athlete. Communication with the coach is critical. Notify the coach of any scheduling conflicts in advance and always talk to the coach about any concerns. Now, these are more general athletic rules. Each sport will have their own rules as well. But athletes are expected to attend all practices, meetings, and games. The coach should be notified of an absence by a parent prior to the absence and has the authority to determine if the reason for the absence is considered excused. If a student is ejected from competitive play and receives a fine from the FHSAA, the student athlete is responsible for paying that fine. To be eligible to participate in practice or games, an athlete must be at school for at least half the day. If suspended, the student is ineligible to participate or practice until the suspension is over. Along those lines, if you are sent or have a meeting with the SPRC, you will not be able to practice until the conclusion of that investigation. Parent-coach relationship. Communication you should expect from the coach. Coaching philosophy. Expectations for the team and individual members. Discipline of student-athlete. Schedule changes for practice and games. Procedure to follow in case of an emergency. Communication from parent to coach. Modeling good sportsmanship, respect of the coaching staff and their philosophy. Direct your concerns to the coach, but follow the 24-hour rule, which I'll get into in a minute. Notify the coach in advance with scheduling conflicts. Procedure for addressing concerns. Issues not appropriate to discuss with coaches. Placement on the team, playing time, coaching strategy used during game time, team strategies, other student athletes. Playing time, and this is a big one. It may be very difficult to accept your child not playing as much as you had hoped. Our coaches are all professionals. They make judgment decisions based on what they believe is best for all the participants. Steps for resolution. Student athlete should speak with the coach privately. Set up an appointment. We have a majority of our coaches that are also teachers, and you can set up an appointment whether it's during lunch or during one of your study halls before or after school. If it is an off-campus coach, we do have an office over in the north building where you can set up a meeting to meet with that coach privately. Parent and student should speak with the child's coach privately if you don't like the outcome of the first meeting. Call to set up an appointment. You may have to leave a message with the coach, especially if they're teaching classes during the day. Please understand this though. If you do have a concern, we want the student athlete to be participating in that meeting. So it would be the parent, the student athlete, and the coach. And we want that because the focus of the meeting is about the student athlete. If the meeting with the coach is not provided satisfactory resolution, you may call myself and we can set up a meeting. Again, the coach will be there, the student athlete will be there, and the parents will be there. The 24-hour rule. And I set this up when I was one of my first years here, and it's really, we had a complaint after a game, and we just lost the game. And to be honest with you, I probably said some things I shouldn't have. As a coach, after the game, we just lost, I was heated. A parent came up and said something to me about playing time. I responded in a negative way. So the lesson I learned from that is that if everybody takes a step back and you wait 24 hours, now everybody's calm. It's to protect the coaches, the parents, and the students. So if something happens during the game and it's not a life-threatening emergency, let's wait 24 hours, let's set up a meeting, and then we can discuss it in a calm manner. Okay, so it's really important that we follow this 24-hour rule. It kind of works in benefit for everybody, and it seems to make the meetings go much better. One of the things I'm excited about this year is we got Miss Duff here that's going to help with all of our student athletes and helping them get to school and the schools of their choice. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Duff.
Thank you, Stan. It's good to have everyone here tonight, and I'm looking forward to the school year ahead. Wanted to start off by talking a little bit about what it means to be a student athlete at Oxbridge. So I think that we have a very impressive tradition of students balancing academics and athletics here. I love that about Oxbridge, and I think it's very important that the student athletes continue that tradition. I think we should also remember here as we look at the word student athlete, student is first. You all have club teams and outside programs that are your athletes there. At school and on your school teams, you're a student athlete. So we need to think a little bit about what that means. And two things that are important to me in that regard are time management and communication. So first of all, time management. One thing that I have noticed that great student athletes at Oxbridge do is to use their study halls and lunch period really well. So lunch here, and for you new students, I think this is a good thing to know. The lunch period has 50 minutes in it this year, so that allows you about 25 minutes to eat your lunch and then 25 minutes to do something else. So that could be the math center, that could be finding a quiet spot to study. And that is key in season. I was a student athlete myself, and that's a lot of times how I got by, was using those study halls. So I would like to see you all do that this year as well. Communication, Coach Athletic Director Ross has talked a lot about that. So there are very specific expectations regarding student athletes communicating with their coaches. And then also with your teachers. So I would like the student athletes to remember, if occasionally you have to miss a class for an athletic contest, to be responsible. I think that's a great part of accepting responsibility, is to take the initiative. Another key part of life at Oxbridge, taking initiative to talk to that teacher, let them know. You know, Ms. Smith, I'm going to be missing class on Thursday. Can I take the test at an alternate time? Just letting you know ahead of time. Those kind of things are really helpful. So those things that I've mentioned on the previous slide apply to all student athletes. And I wanted to make a few remarks as well about students who hope to continue to play their sport in college. So we are here, we have a lot of resources in the college counseling office geared to helping student athletes with these plans for college athletics. So we have Ms. Hammett, who she is the coordinator in our office, and she helps with NC2A registration. She has some great drafts of emails to coaches and creating an athletic resume. So students meet one-on-one with her. But the bottom line is that knowing recruiting rules is your responsibility. So if you have questions, you can certainly ask us. But the NC2A website has excellent, very detailed descriptions of the rules for each sport. So we will help you, but in the end, knowing and abiding by the recruiting rules is your responsibility. As part of those rules, for many sports, the summer after sophomore year is when colleges can begin communicating with prospective student athletes. So an example of a student, a sailor I have this year, he had been in touch, he had reached out to the coach sooner than that. The coach could not reply till around June 15th following a student's sophomore year. So the coach can't reply, but students don't wait until then to make the first contact. So we can talk about that, and all the specifics are by individual sports. Wanted to mention, just a reminder, who decides who gets to play in college. That's college coaches, of course. At most highly selective colleges, the admissions office also has a say in who gets to play. So it's not your high school coach, it's not your college counselor, it's those college coaches. And so there's no guarantees. Being a member of an Oxbridge athletic team doesn't guarantee that you'll be a member of a college athletic team. I think it's a great goal to set if you're someone who is interested in playing in college to go for it and give it your best shot. I walked on to my college athletic team, and it was a huge part of my college experience. I thought in terms of, I like to mention in presentations things you can do now. So if you really, I think rising 11th and 12th graders, all of you could be doing some standardized test prep. Athletes, it's a must. So you need to use that summer time to get ahead and work on your standardized test prep. A couple of companies worth mentioning, Khan Academy, well, that's an organization that's online. They have free SAT prep. And then Revolution Prep is a company that we partner with. They're willing to give partial test prep scholarships to students who receive financial aid at Oxbridge. So yeah, rising juniors, this is go time for you to be working on the SAT and ACT prep. And rising seniors may still be doing that as well. So college counseling at Oxbridge, just a little bit of what we offer on the whole, not just limited to athletics, but I've highlighted a few points related to that on this slide. So the classroom presentations, 9th to 11th grade, 9th and 10th grade, we go a couple times a year. Junior year, we're going really every other month to talk to the students. And we include in that concrete information on NC2A eligibility and next steps for students interested in playing collegiate athletics. As I mentioned before, we do the one-on-one meetings with the ASC coordinator, or the students have one-on-one meetings with the coordinator. A timeline for that, for this registering with the NC2A Eligibility Center, if you're interested in playing in college and you're a rising senior, I'd like you to register as soon as possible. If you're a rising junior, I'd like you to target end of September to meet with her and just walk you through what needs to happen online. She can help with some other things listed here as well. And then our one-on-one 11th grade college planning family meetings, that's when it's usually mid-year. Once the kids have their first semester junior year grades, they will meet one-on-one with their college counselor. And then ongoing counsel throughout 12th grade. So we have boot camp scheduled for August. So that's a little bit about college counseling and how we support prospective college student athletes at Oxbridge. So Ms. Hammett is working over the summer. If you have questions, her email is very easy. It's monica@oapb.org. And I am back in the office on August 8th. And so you can reach me sduff@oapb.org. Thank you so much, and I'll pass it over to Dr. Kelly Prisco.
Good evening, and thank you for all coming and taking the time to listen to everything that we have to say. I'm pretty sure you have heard a lot of information so far. I'm about to give you a lot more. So the good news is all of it can be found on our website. Under the athletics tab, there's different little drop-down menus, and you can actually find all of this. And I'm sure the information you were just provided with college counseling, if it's not there already, they will be adding an athletic section to it. So, the Health and Wellness Clinic is pretty unique to Oxbridge Academy. It's not just a nurse's office, it's not just an athletic training service, it's actually everything rolled into one. So we're fortunate here to have 2 full-time athletic trainers, and I am a physical therapist, and we man the clinic. So we provide services to our students, our athletic teams, our employees, and it's kind of the one place on campus you can come to if you get injured during the day, if you get sick during the day, and then all of your athletic needs as well. So we do provide physical therapy. We run that clinic like an outpatient setting. We don't charge your insurance for it. It's just a perk of being an Oxbridge student. And that part is really unique because the students don't have to miss class to go off campus and have physical therapy. Parents don't have to miss work to try to get them to appointments. So it's something that I would really encourage you to take advantage of if you ever need physical therapy, or if you just need injury prevention programs, which we do provide as well in there. We also provide athletic training, first aid and emergency medical management. We have an injury and concussion management program I will talk about, injury prevention, strength and conditioning, and management of COVID-19 as it relates to athletics. Just a little bit about how we determine medical coverage for our athletic events. It actually depends on the schedule of the day, where our teams are, and if it's a practice or a game. So our order pretty much of how we cover is all on-campus practices. There will be at least one of our clinic staff either on site or available on campus. The coaches do have all of our contact information, so we're reachable by cell phone or radio, and we can get quickly to any facility on campus. Then we are present at all home games and contests. And then if the schedule allows, we will travel to away contests. The exception to that is, of course, our contact sports. So we will always have a member of our staff travel with JV football and boys lacrosse. Injury management is really important. And sometimes it's really hard because our student athletes really want to get back out on the field. And we know parents really want their children to get back out on the field as soon as possible. We need to take a little step back and we need to encourage our student athletes to utilize what we have on campus. If there is a student athlete that's injured, we're going to do an assessment. If you need further assessment from an outside physician, we're going to contact the family. We're either going to call you or email you or probably both and discuss the situation. Once we refer a student athlete to an outside physician, they cannot return to their sport without that physician clearing them. It's really important because they'll be evaluated. There'll probably be restrictions on some injuries, and we don't want them to return to their sport too soon. If students tend to return to their sport too soon, it actually could lead to further damage or it could set them back even more. One thing to note that just because a doctor says, yes, they're clear, that doesn't necessarily mean that very day you're gonna come back on campus and we're gonna say, okay, go 100% with your team. We're the ones that work with them every day. We know how to progress an athlete back safely. So it may be a matter of, okay, great, you're cleared to play. We're gonna start you at 25% of what you can do, or we're gonna start you with non-contact drills. We're gonna make sure it's as safe as possible for you to get back on the field in a timely fashion. A decision to pull a student athlete from a practice, a contest, or a game is our decision. A coach can't override it, a parent can't override it, an official can't override it, and it's the same thing for return. Parents can't override our decision, coaches can't override our decision. So it is definitely a relationship between the treating physician and our staff on campus that determines when it is okay for student athletes to return. The good thing about the rehab part or the physical therapy is it is on campus, and there's different times that students can utilize that. Any student that's in grades 7 through 9, you can come in before school, during lunch, and then after school, depending on our schedule. We really don't want them to use their study hall times because it's really important for them to utilize study halls for studying, learn time management, get help they need from maybe the writing center or the math center. If it's something that's the only time of the day, we actually work with the teachers and we will split the study hall and make a schedule where they stay in study hall half the time and they will come to us half the time. Students in 11th and 12th grade can come before school, after school, during their study hall, and of course during lunch. We do have a secondary insurance policy. The one thing I will tell you about that is if you don't have a primary insurance policy, that one will not cover anything. And it will also not cover everything 100%. So if there is an injury, we will take care of filling out the insurance claim, sending it to the company. They have very specific rules about what can be covered and what can't. So something may not even be covered at all, depends on what the injury or accident is. One of the programs that we have been changing over the years, making better over the years, one that I'm really proud of is the concussion management program. Concussions can happen anywhere, not just on the athletic field. So we actually have a school-wide concussion management program. With athletics in particular, you cannot start your sport if you do not have a concussion baseline test. All of our students are concussion baseline tests, whether they play a sport or not. So if you're a new student, 7th, 8th, or 9th grade, that usually takes place the first few weeks of school, and we will go into the PE classes. We'll actually educate the students about concussions, and then we'll do the concussion testing during class. If those students actually play a fall sport, if you've been on campus, we've started to do them. If your tryout dates are coming up, we're going to get in touch with the coaches, plan around your first tryout date, and we will send an email to those that sign up on the interest list to come onto campus. The test takes 5 minutes. It's nothing invasive. It's something that we use if they get a concussion to send to the neurologist. We use it as a tool to track their progress, and then those are updated every 2 years. The really neat thing about the concussion management program is it's school-wide. So if somebody is diagnosed with a concussion, they go into our concussion management program, and the teachers are also involved. The advisors are involved. Academics is involved. Because the important thing we want everyone to know about concussions is your brain needs to rest. And it's not just from activity. Every time I look down at this paper and look at my notes, or I'm reading my cell phone, or I'm looking at a computer screen, your brain is actually working. Your brain is working when you're listening to music or watching TV. So in order for a concussion, you need your brain to rest. So we work really closely with the teachers, and we provide classroom accommodations. Sometimes those are based off of the symptoms we see. Sometimes those are coming from the physician or the neurologist. Once a student athlete or a student in general is cleared from a concussion, meaning they don't have any symptoms, and those symptoms don't return in 24 hours, they'll be cleared to go back to a return to play program. The thing about Oxbridge is if you've taken time out of the classroom, you also need to be able to return to the classroom. So you have to kind of work with the teachers, work with the clinic staff, and we're going to return you to the classroom as well as the athletic field. In order to do that, once the doctor says, okay, you're symptom free, you can go back to your sport, it's actually going to take at least 5 days. What we do is a graduated return to play. It is required by the state, and it is good practice for concussions not to throw somebody back into a sport like that. That is something that is done with our staff. It can be done during the school day, it can be done during practice time, it can be done during lunch. And it's a graduated return where we add a little bit of activity every day, progressing them into their sport-specific drills and ultimately full play. Just so you're aware, we will pull a student athlete if we suspect a concussion from practice or a game. We will not let them go back in if we do suspect it. We will at that point notify the parents or guardians, and what we'll tell you is we're going to monitor them for 24 to 48 hours, meaning if they're feeling worse tomorrow, keep them home and let me know, and then we'll make a plan. But sometimes concussion symptoms don't develop for a full 24 to 48 hours, which is why we don't like to make that call right then and there. We do have strength and conditioning on campus. We are really big on teaching the proper fundamentals, teaching proper hydration, teaching proper nutrition. We are not a program of bigger, faster, stronger, and we don't care how you do it. You're just going to lift that weight, okay? Yes, we care about you making gains, making improvements, but we want you to do it the right way. So we are never going to ask somebody to do something they can't do. And if a student or a student athlete has never been in a weight room before, it's going to be very light at first. And we're actually going to just teach you body weight movements. So you learn how to use your body the most efficient way, the most safe way, and so you don't get injured in the weight room. There are quite a few requirements to participate on an athletic team. Part of that is an FHSA requirement. Part of that is Oxbridge requirements. So the most important ones, I believe, are the required FHSA forms. I do have those forms up front if you want to look at them. They are the EL2 and EL3. One is a sports physical, one's a bunch of consent forms. There are some additional forms based on specific cases. If you're new to Oxbridge, but you have gone to high school at another high school, there's an additional form you'll have to fill out just to say that we did not come and take you from that school and recruit you. There's also required FHSA courses that kind of correlate with those consent forms. So on those consent forms, you're attesting that, yes, you watched the video on concussions and you understand how important concussion management is. Yes, you watched the video on heat illness. Yes, you watched the video on sudden cardiac arrest. So those forms kind of go hand in hand with those videos. They're not that long. They're on our athletic website, and I actually have an image to show you where to click on them so you can watch them. The Athletic Policy and Procedure Handbook will also be on the website. It's on our athletic tabs. It is scheduled to go out 1 week before fall, so that would be next Monday. There's also a form that you will have to sign and turn into your coach that says you did read it and you agreed to follow all of those policies. The other thing that we've had to add in the last few years is the COVID-19 athletic addendum. That will also be out at a later date. It will most likely be published on August 1st when we release the full school's COVID policies for the year. And when we do that, we will send an email to the entire Oxbridge community telling you that they are up, and we'll provide you the links with those so you can read those. If you go to our website, you can click on the athletics tab, and there are a bunch of sub-tabs on the left-hand column. Those two at the bottom, you can find your forms and waivers. And the next one down, if you click on it, it'll have a link to all of the required FHSAA courses. There's also a very short educational PowerPoint on concussions on one of those tabs as well that you can click through. Just so you don't get confused, because there are a lot of medical forms to turn in at a school. These are different than the Department of Health and immunization forms, okay? So they do look like this. The other forms you get are gonna be yellow and white. They have Department of Health across the top. They have the immunization on it. Those actually go to our registrar. So my suggestion to you is when you go get your physical, have both, well, one of the forms your doctor will have the Department of Health. Take and print out the EL2 and take it with you. Have them fill them out on the same day. If you've already gotten your physical for school and you didn't know you had to get a sports physical, it's okay. If it's been within the last year, take the EL2 to the doctor, say, you need this for sports, can you please put date of exam on the bottom and sign it. So they're gonna put the date that you went and then they'll sign it. Those have to be redone every year, just like the EL3 and the consent forms. So, our COVID-19 policies and procedures. I'm not gonna talk a lot about them. We are going to release the full school COVID-19 policy and procedures. We're aiming for an August 1st release date on those. But I do have a few things that's really important to athletics in general. The first one is our illness policy. And this doesn't just pertain to COVID-19. This pertains to the flu. This pertains to strep. This pertains to any of those illnesses that are really contagious and in close quarters and on a team where you're maybe face-to-face, you're at contact, you're running up and down the court with somebody, you're breathing heavier on somebody. It's really important for you not to come when you are sick. Don't come to a game, don't come to a practice. The coaches aren't gonna hold it against you. You don't get penalized for staying home when you're sick, okay? It's really important that you know that. If, by chance, an athlete gets COVID-19 during the school year, there is a return process that we have to follow. And it is partly based on we're trying to decrease transmission, partly because when you return, you may have some symptoms with your heart or your breathing. We have had athletes in the past that we had a really hard time getting back because we just couldn't keep their heart rate at a normal level for a teenager while they're participating in athletics. We couldn't keep their oxygen levels up. So COVID-19 is kind of like concussions for us. After being home for the 5 days, if your symptoms are gone, you can return. You will not be able to start athletics until a full 10 days has passed, either since they've tested positive for COVID or they have started having symptoms, okay? After that time, they're going to do a graduated return with us. Same thing, we're gonna monitor heart rate, we're gonna monitor their oxygen levels. And then based on how they're doing in relationship to their sport, then we'll clear them. I can tell you it's taken 4 to 5 days on average for students to be cleared from COVID-19 so that we know they are okay to play. We are going to continue to do contact tracing for our athletic teams. Students that are considered close contact and their parents and guardians will be notified by an email. Those emails all come from me, and it will be very detailed with everything that you need to know in it. At this time, we will not be quarantining athletes that are considered close contact. We are going to use our test to play program that we started at the end of last year. Of course, this can change based on the course of the virus, but we are hoping to utilize the Oxbridge community's COVID-19 status as a guide to how we change it. Meaning, if we have a cluster of cases on campus or a cluster within one athletic team or an outbreak on campus, you may see a change, and it would be a temporary change in our mitigation strategies. But for right now, if an athlete on a team is close contact, they don't have to quarantine. but they are going to follow a test to play program and monitor themselves for symptoms. I do want to point out that sharing of equipment, clothing items, and water bottles is not permitted. That's actually just a good thing to do, not regarding COVID-19, okay? I'm going to turn it over now to our Assistant Athletic Director, Nick Agris.
Just pick it up. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nick Agris. I'm the Assistant Director of Athletics here at Oxbridge. We're going to talk to you about a couple things. We're going to start off with transportation. In most cases, Oxbridge will provide round-trip transportations to and from athletic events. The coach and the athletic director will be the ones that decide whether that transportation is mandatory. Now, if a student athlete is not taking the school-provided transportation, their parent can send in an email. A parent or guardian can send an email specifying who will be taking the child to and from. So this can be, the student can be driving, the parent or guardian can pick them up from an athletic contest and take them home. It can even be another student driving your child, but permission from that driver's parents also needs to be sent in as well. These emails must be sent to the head coach, the director of athletics, and our equipment manager as well. Parent may send one single email regarding the entire season, or they can send in an email per athletic contest. Let's move on to communication. So all of our athletic events are listed on Veracross and Max Preps. This includes games, times, and locations. For those of you that don't know, that might be new to the school, Veracross is kind of our internal system that we use that has a student's schedule and a lot of information that they may need. And actually, if when we put them on the team in Veracross, their athletic schedule will pop up on Veracross. So it'll be whenever they log into their personal Veracross, they can see that they have practice that day or a game that day. The athletics weekly schedule is sent out via email every Friday by 4 p.m. On that schedule is game schedules, practice schedules, and other athletic related activities going on for the upcoming week. The weekly newsletter goes out via email every Sunday. And if you scroll through the newsletter, you'll see a athletics weekly recap that will have scores, highlights, any kind of sports news. I'm the one that puts it together, so I do my best to kind of highlight all of our teams and our student athletes' accomplishments. Our Twitter page and our Instagram page use the handle @GoOxbridge. Go ahead and give them a follow. On those pages, we have all things athletics related, including game day updates, changes that may be made that day. So it's a good source to have to check out to see if a game was canceled due to rain delay or whatever may occur. Big shout out to Dr. Kelly. I don't know where she went, but Dr. Kelly runs our social media page. Oh, there she is. She's back there. She runs our social media page, does an excellent job. Senior banners. For those of you that are seniors, you can order a senior banner for $35. It's pretty simple. Once the seniors take their senior pictures for their respective sports, I put together a banner. I'm sure for many of you that have been here before, you'll see the banners on campus. I put together the banner. We send it to the printing company. They print it. Usually all takes about a week. But just make sure you let us know that you would like a senior banner. Let's move on to the equipment room. Our equipment team led by Sam Provo. Sam, give us a wave back there. There's Sam Provo. Sam's awesome. A lot of you will get to know Sam if you want you might want to be nice to him because he's the one that cleans your uniform. So players will be given a laundry loop that they can attach their practice and game day uniforms to. Our equipment team will handle the laundry for all of our athletic teams. The equipment team will also hand out game day drinks and snacks to head coaches and or a team captain. Team meals will be provided on game days when the start time is later in the day. It's usually after 5 p.m. It's usually chicken, veggies, and pasta. And then if the team has an away game and they have to leave early, for example, if they have to go down to Miami for a 7 o'clock game, we'll provide them with a boxed lunch. That'll be sandwich, Nutri-Grain bar, fruit, etc. Let me tell you, who's new here? Whose first year is this? Athletics is great, but man, our dining staff is awesome. And Coach Ed over there, who's also one of our softball coaches. He provides the team meals, all the box lunches, and your school lunches during the day. They're the best. Let's see, what else? Individual sport-specific spirit packs. We have those. They can be bought through our equipment department. You may have seen them. A lot of them have been created by Sam Provo for some of our fall sports. So there's a lot of flyers on some of the fall sport tables. You might have seen them already. And we also have an online spirit store where you can purchase all kinds of Oxbridge athletics gear. If you go to oapb.org, which is, of course, our website, you'll see a quick links tab where they can click on it, and you'll see the BSN online store there. That's it for me. I'm happy to hand it off to our OPO president, Mr. John Nyhoff. You want it on here?
Yeah.
All right. Get that for you.
Have to bring this mic down just a little bit. Thank you, Nick. Thunderwolf parents. Let me get my slides here. Good evening, Thunderwolf parents, coaches, administration, and athletes. Your parent organization is here to represent each and every one of you. We promise transparency, hard work, and to have some fun along the way. I'd like to connect you with some of the faces and the emails you've received about the parent organization. In the back of the room is our president-elect and treasurer with an 11th grade student athlete, and that's Lynn Lawrence. Our vice president of community support, the secretary with an 11th grade student, and that's Michelle Cardell. Our vice president ambassador committee is unfortunately at home with COVID today. She's the senior executive on the committee member with an 11th grade student, and that's Beth Stewart. Our vice presidents of sports and socials with an 11th and 12th grade student athlete with a great British accent, and that's Jax Weisler. Our vice president of spirit, or she calls it fun, has a 9th grade student who was in the 8th grade and has transitioned into the 9th grade. She's in North Carolina, unfortunately, and that's Rachel Shearer. Some of the people you've met, but I want to tell you a little bit more about them. Our director of health and wellness, not only does she give out aspirins, keeps our athletes healthy, but she shepherded us through COVID for 2 years. She kept this school going. Many other schools shut down. Dr. Kelly Prisco kept us going. Thank you. Our very tall assistant dean of athletics is everywhere on game day, and Nick, you just met. Hey, Chris. Thank you. Where does it all end there? Well, our director of athletics is a nationally recognized lacrosse coach. Our boys lacrosse coach has brought regional and district championships too numerous to mention in the last year. He also helped us establish a national top 10 women's softball team, as well as a previously mentioned 4x100 state championship. His son is a rising lacrosse star. He put the growl back on the football field, Mr. Stan Ross. All of this would not be possible. There's some other individuals that have contributed quite a bit to this program. Our Director of Giving and Alumni Relations is also the girls lacrosse coach, OPO liaison, student club supervisor, and I think she sweeps the parking lot every other week, and that's Molly Miller. The Oxbridge Foundation and Advancement has raised a 7-figure number this year, record-setting. This year with an amazing individual running it, with an 11th grade student, Scott Siegfried. You met him earlier, but ahead of our school since 2018 with a PhD from Stanford is an avid cyclist. He's here and not at the Tour de France this week, and that is Dr. Ralph Maurer. Our founder started the school in 2011. His contributions of money, time, and energy are legendary. A champion sailor with 4 world champions and the 1992 America's Cup, Mr. Bill Koch. Thunderwolf parents, your faith in the school will be rewarded. The world-class staff and administration is focused on developing your child's mind, body, and spirit. The results will be beyond your expectations. Thank you for being here tonight and choosing Oxbridge Academy.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's going to be a great year, and we're really looking forward to it. If you look up where the OPO is sitting, there's QR codes. It has the start dates for all of our fall sports. Our year-long sports will start once school gets started. It also has a directory with all of our coaches' contacts. At this time, I'd like to have the coaches come back out to their tables. This is the conclusion of our program, but we'd love for you to stick around, say hello to all the coaches, introduce yourselves, sign up for more than one sport. Get out there and try something new. Thank you very much.